with us here on the Mastermind Wisdom Table Talk Radio live at 5. And we are in the process of making sure that we are being heard and we are talking to folks. So, alrighty, if you can hear me, please give me a typed message and let me know.
Hi, everyone.
It says you're on, Larry Darnell. Troy Lynn joined. Wendell Brooks joined. Annette Hill joined. Welcome, everybody, to the Mastermind Wisdom Table Talk Radio Show live at 5. We are streaming live, and we've got some great things to talk about. Ratchet, welcome. Troy, welcome. Darnell Brooks, I think I mentioned you. I've been absent for a while, but I'm back. But I've had these.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
These two capable people to handle things while I have been away. And again, please let me know if you can hear us, because somebody else has their mic off. Check that one to see if that one's off.
That one is off.
Okay. Okay.
No, that was off. It's on now.
Yeah, we're on now.
We're on now.
So, my name is Chrysoloris Chrysophilos Gustavus Jackson Sr., and I am your host this evening. I am a Mastermind Wisdom Coach, and you are listening to the Mastermind Wisdom Table Talk Hour. I have two of my favorite folks here with me. That's Lisa Jenkins and Larry Darnell Richardson.
Hello, everybody.
They are mastermind trainees. They have moved up the ranks in their learning process, and they are just great co-hosts, and they handle things very well for me when I was away.
Thank you, Chris.
So, tell the folks who you are and what you do, and we will just continue on. Lisa,
My name is Lisa Jenkins, and I am mentee to Mastermind Wisdom Coach, Mr. Chris here. And I'm with Why Not Legacy Group. Why not have your legacy in order? Why not leave a legacy for your children's children? And I'm here with Mr. Larry Richardson.
Thank you. Yes, good evening, and Merry Christmas to everyone. My name is Larry Richardson. I'm also is a Mastermind Wisdom Coach trainee with Chris Jackson. My past experience is over 25 plus years of insurance financial services. Also past president of the Insurance and Financial Services of San Jacinto. Also on the board of the Young Adults, served on the board of Young Adults NAACP mentoring program, and presently part of the Homeowner Association HOA Houston chapter. Glad to be here, and wonderful holiday season to everyone. Thank you.
You know, we've had some good talks over the last couple of weeks. And if you guys would like to kind of touch on some of those things we talked about for the end of the year, and maybe some of your plans for going forward for 2019.
Yeah, well, one of the things I think we had a great discussion over, and that was how to start over or beginning again. We touched on a few points of looking at 2019 as the new year, and just trying to make sure that everyone is on track. You know, you got to put the past behind you, and don't always stare at the rearview mirror to move forward. You have to look through the window pane of the forward future, and starting in 2019 is a fresh new start. If the year of 2018 was good for you, or if you had a great 2018, we can look forward to 2019 with double increase. And that was one of the things that really excited me and the plans of actions that I'm putting in place. What about yourself? How did you feel about that?
I feel it was great talks about wiping your slate clean, leaving the past, moving into the present, and going into the future.
Right.
Making sure that we're ready for 2019, because that's going to be the best year ever for all of us. 2018 is leaving, 2019 is coming.
It's here.
Coming with a bang.
Right.
So we're ready. We want to help relieve stress. It is the holiday season, and we don't want anybody to be stressful, right?
That's right. That's right.
You know, we want you to be prayerful and just enjoy this holiday season, right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And that's moving into the new year, and I think that's what we really want to stay focused on.
We do want to stay focused on the new year. We want to, at some point, kind of look back at some of the things that we've been through, some of the things that we've done, maybe some of the changes that we'd like to implement. I know for myself, this past year, I've had my good days. I think that's a song. I've had my
Let's hear you
good
sing
days. You want to hear me sing it?
Turn down your mic there.
I've had my good days.
Yes, sir.
And I've had my bad days.
Right.
But I can assure you, my good days outnumbered my bad days.
Right.
And I dwell on my good ones, and I think about my bad ones.
Mm-hmm.
I dwell
Dwell.
on the good ones,
Mm.
and I just think about the bad ones.
Right.
Because I don't give them a lot of credit.
Wow.
The credit that if I were to give them any credit, it would be to help me understand that I can do that.
Yes. Yes.
And that's what we want for our audience today. Help us help you with some of the things that may be going on with you, to help you get better. This is it's a talk show, but it's a counseling talk show. This is one of the few places that you can visit and get some counseling for free.
Awesome.
We happen to know that you, like us, have been through some stuff.
Right.
And with any holiday season, most holiday seasons, people feel stressed.
Mm.
They feel left out. They feel behind. They feel like they got a bump and bang. So we are actually having today, in our location here today, we're actually having a networking event that's going to start at 6 p.m. If you're close by, we'd like to invite you by. That is at 2646 South Loop 610. We're in Suite 378. It's right behind the 2626 building. We're going to be doing this the last Thursday of every month. We're going to have a networking session. We'll have some new people coming in to talk about what they do, and we're going to share. We're just going to have a good time, and we're going to have that group at some point. I will be doing a mastermind group based on that networking.
That'd be great.
So I've got lots of material that I can present, but what we first want to do is find out where people are in their lives, certainly help them with where they are, and help them to move further. So we're going to be doing that. One of the things that I wanted to do today, because I'm so happy to be back. I don't know.
We happy to have you.
Happy to have you back. All right. Welcome
we missed
back.
you a lot. All they could hear was the phone, but you were here.
Yeah, and I look good at a phone, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Hi, LaShawn, welcome. Patrick, welcome. Julian, welcome. I'm looking forward to moving forward in the new season, but with every season, there is a drop-off point. There are those times when we will find ourselves in stressful situations. And what I want to talk about today, and I want the help of persons that are visiting with us, hey Mary, to talk about stress a little bit. We're going to talk about stress a little bit. And what I've done today is I've prepared a sheet for us to focus on, and it is actually a program. It's part of what I do, but from time to time I like to borrow from authors, other noted figures, that are talking to people about some of the same things.
Right.
And this author is Rick Warren. Now, Rick Warren is the pastor of Saddleback Church out in California. And he has written, he did this for his congregation, and of course he does it live as well. But he did this for his congregation and for those persons that might be dealing with stress. It's one of the things that I deal with a lot when I talk to folks and I counsel folks. I've learned to deal with my own stress in such a manner that I'm choosing now not to take high blood pressure medicine.
That's a good thing.
So,
Excellent.
and I'm going to try to stay off it, y'all. So, there are very few things that you can do to stress me out, make me angry, to make me feel shame,
Yes.
to have me feel abused, because I choose not to. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. So I want you guys, jump in there wherever you feel that you need to or want to, because what we're giving out today is some of our own experiences as well as some of the things that Rick Warren has written down for us that we're going to discuss. We're going to talk about it. We're just going to have a good time.
Yes,
That's
absolutely,
good.
absolutely.
And I hope everyone is ready.
Yeah. Well, one of the good things I like when you brought this to my attention earlier, and I was reading over Rick Warren, and I like where he actually takes that initial stress information from, which is Philippians 4:8. This is out of the NIV. If you don't mind, I'm going to read it.
Go right ahead.
Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Keeping the positive on your mind, and the positive things, as you just mentioned, good times and bad times. But the good times is what you choose to keep on your mind. And these things, which I also call some of the fruits of our spirits, keeps us in a positive manner and releases some of the stress we may have, or I've had in my own life, during the course of this year or all through my life. And those scriptures, if we go back, and I believe that's the basis of a lot of things, once we take, as I say, attention off self, then we tend to recognize or have less stress in our lives, because there's several things that goes on every day, and we can look around us and see things could be worse.
Right. Absolutely.
But these things right here, I think, has made an impact on my life, and I like how you put it. But the scripture itself, the Philippians 4:8 and verse 4, number 8 of the NIV, it reads those, and I like that a lot.
I like that also.
I do too, because and I'm going to repeat it, because for many of us, we don't choose sometimes to think about, or sometimes we will choose to think too much about some of the things that are true that might be hurtful.
Yeah.
But you take those things that are good in your life, in other folks' life, folks that have poured into you, those things that are true, whatever is noble, think of yourself now, whatever is right, whatever is pure in you, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, everything that is excellent, that is worthy of being praised.
Wow.
Giving praise to. It says here to think about those things. And for so many of us, we will choose not to think about the good things. We've talked about the end of this year.
Yeah.
The end of this year, the celebrating of the birth of Christ. Not the big gifts that you're going to get and take back and give money for, but that praising, that being praiseworthy. Christ is praiseworthy. So that's one of the things that we want to do. I know you're bubbling over with something to say. I know you. I know you.
Yeah, we just need to keep praising Him, worshiping Him every morning, every evening. And when you're feeling down, just start praising Him and worshiping Him and thinking of all good thoughts. I know some of us have lost our loved ones because I'm thinking about my mom and dad and the people who I've lost this year. And I'm like, oh, I give praise to be here this day at this time in order to speak to you and speak deliverance into your heart, into your soul, into your mind.
That's awesome.
Right,
That's
Larry?
right. That's right. That's awesome. I think you're right on the money right there. And the most important thing, especially during this season, and we're at an unusual time of the year, where you look around and people are commercialized. They making joy. The commercials of the holiday was way in October, not But the thing of it is that even though we see the quote unquote the commercialism around the United States and now, people are still thinking on the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. Thinking, what am I going to buy for Christmas? And one of my experiences, and I've said this many years ago, when I finally got it right, being in the finance, I learned to, and one of my theories was not to go into the New Year's in debt. Wow. And that was taking a lot of stress off me. What does that mean? That means I got a chance to sit down with family, discuss my beliefs, got a chance to witness to who I believe in, Jesus Christ, my personal Savior, and then explain to him that it's his birthday and not yours.
That's right.
And once I explained that, then I said, well, I don't mind your attitudes about it, but I'm not giving out any gifts. I was at this particular time was not like that. Receive any gift. Any gift that was given to me, let's give it to God. Let's give it to Jesus Christ. Let's give out our help. Let's go out and work with the homeless. Let's do some things like that. But the point of it is I stopped buying gifts. And the first of the year, when the year started up, I didn't owe anybody anything. Mm-hmm. And when I didn't have bills, wondering how I was going to get out of some of these debts, then I went into the new year actually being able to put some more money aside and saving. And you're talking about stresslessness. Wow. That's over 20 years I've lived that aspect. And I'm not saying that's for everybody. That's pretty dramatic for those that love giving gifts. It's out there right now trying to be, Black Friday was a few months or weeks back, and right now getting ready to go out and say, well, who am I going to give, or what we call the last minute shoppers. Mm-hmm. That's just too much stress, and the thing you look at is that it's your attitude. And my attitude of gratitude is to God, and it's saved me from a lot of stress for the last 20 some odd years, because I don't go into the new year in debt.
So what I heard you say was,
I'm listening.
You can't reduce stress in your life unless you change how you think.
Absolutely. It takes a change in your thinking.
You can't reduce stress in your life unless you change how you think.
Agreed.
Our stress doesn't come from the outside, but from the inside.
Wow, that's deep.
Well, it's deep from several different aspects, because all of our thinking starts inside. Uh-huh. It doesn't start outside.
Right.
Because even what you see, even what you hear, it is connected to the thoughts that you have about that situation or whatever is said or whatever is done.
Correct.
And we cause ourselves, in my opinion, more stress by what we think than what we do.
Exactly. Well, I had to change my thinking, as you just said, how you, what's the year and what's the celebration of this season is all about. Once my thinking was changed, then I changed my actions. Wow. I deleted the gift, the pressures of gift buying and what to give somebody. Because I also told them I choose not to accept any gift. So it was a mutual understanding. And once that understanding was established in my family and with me, it's radical thinking, but it made a lot of sense to me that I wouldn't go into debt. My credit card bills wasn't, max to the max.
Yeah.
And then I was able to start saving, and that was an unusual change in my life from what my previous experience was, which Christmas was always, I love, man, car full of gifts, presents, giving all that. Who I'm going to take it to, and who I'm going to surprise, and see how much they like it. And then, you're at that additional stress when you buy gifts to people that didn't like it, and then re-gifting it, or go, oh, and they don't get the reaction you choose to see from them, and you're going, well, so that's too much stress.
Yeah.
It is.
Mary Figure says, we have gotten away from the meaning of God. My godson says, sometimes knowing the difference makes all the difference.
And there is a difference.
There is a difference.
There is a difference. You don't need the additional stress, strain, and struggles that people go through during this time and this season. And how do you get started on a fresh new year, bringing in the baggage from the previous year? How do you do that? Somebody may want to answer that to me, but I don't see it.
You can't.
Well, let's see what our cheat sheet says, and I'm going to read what Mary says. Change your thinking, change your life. I wonder where you got that from, girl.
Well, she's a mastermind mentee also.
Mastermind
makes
material.
all the
Yeah,
difference.
boy,
Makes
that's
all
what
the
I'm
difference in the
talking
world.
about. So, what our cheat sheet says, your mind is a special gift from God. It's capable of storing more than 100 trillion thoughts. It can handle enormous amounts of information. God has given you the freedom to choose what you think about from among all of the information that you get. You can handle 100 trillion thoughts. But God is giving you the ability to choose what you choose to think about. And when we choose to spend more time on negative stuff than on positive stuff, when we choose not to show gratefulness, gratitude,
Absolutely.
because we have so much to be thankful for. We have more to be thankful for than sometimes we would take time to understand. What do you think?
That's true. Yeah, we need to get rid of the negative thoughts. We need to think of ways of gratitude and learn how to be grateful for where we are at this moment, this time. I keep saying this moment, this time, because all we can be in is at this moment. We can't be in yesterday. Tomorrow hasn't come yet, so we have to think. And all this, what I call it, stinking thinking.
Stinking thinking. That's Miss Lisa. Stinking thinking.
All that information that we gather from childhood, all that information we gather from school and adulthood, all the hurt and pain does come up when we around the Christmas holidays, because that's time to reflect. But what we need to do is choose those thoughts, write down what we're grateful for, and choose the best thoughts out of our list and repeat them over and over. And when I started doing and saying that, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my clients, I'm grateful for my children, then I started to feel better, because I had a lot of negative thoughts and bad thoughts. I think what you asked me last week, what's wrong? Because sometimes you show things, on you, how you feel. And it was nothing really wrong, but I was just thinking of the wrong thoughts at that time. What are you teaching? Change your mind, change your life, change your thoughts.
Change your thinking, change your thoughts, change your behavior, and change your life.
That's a big one.
Because read what Paul says, and I have a comment about that.
Okay, you want to read it?
Yeah, Paul reminds us that we can choose what we think about. He also encouraged us to think about the right things. What we put in our minds impact how we live.
Wow. You mentioned a while back, just a few moments ago, when I asked you last week how you were feeling, what was going on with you. You just stated one of my principles is that what's going on inside of you will show on the outside of you.
Right.
Because we internalize stuff and we think with it we are holding it inside, and it's not. It's being shown, and then The other part to that is we become what we think about most of the time. So because you were thinking about so much negative stuff, you walked, you carried yourself as if stuff was heavy, that the clothes you had on were heavy. But it wasn't the clothes, it was what was on your mind.
Right.
Was wearing you down. And sometimes by asking the question, what's going on with you? What are you choosing to think about? Will help folks refocus.
Right. You said something earlier. Chris and I had an opportunity to go to a network earlier, and we talked with some guys, and we were discussing, attitudes and stress. And one of the things you said, and I chose it from scripture point of view. And the guy would say, I worry, I don't sleep much. And then he said, well, what are you worrying about? And then it came out of, and it says, worrying doesn't change anything. Remember you said that?
Yes.
And you got that. And then I took it, looked it up and found that Matthew 6:27 says, who of you by worrying can add a single hour to his lifespan? Mm-hmm. And, when you give it over to God, you let him take care of it. Reduces the stress. I don't have to worry about it anymore, and I can sleep at night. And one of my biggest prayers in my devotion in the morning is to have a complete life and a restful life, but to be able to sleep well is so important in part. And that's not to have stress on you when you're taking it to bed or taking it to sleep. But it goes back to the scripture, and Matthew says it all.
Yeah, I believe the young man you were talking about said that he wakes up in the middle of the night, just all of a sudden trying to think of how he's going to change something or make a change.
Exactly.